back end of June, I got a phone call from Frank. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I thought, why is Frank phoning me at this time? And he goes, I want you to train a fighter of mine. And I'm thinking, who on earth does he want me to train? And he went, Billy Joe Saunders. And I went, you know what, Frank, of all the fighters I'd like to train, I goes, he's the one. It was a world-class performance. It was a total shutout. You know, the skill set he brought to that fight was second to none. And like everybody's talking about him, the buzzword now is Billy Joe Saunders.
If we just take it back to the start for those who don't know, how did the whole Dom Ingle, Billy Joe Saunders journey start?
You know, I seen Billy way back in 2008 training at the Sheffield Institute of Sport. You could see then he was a real talent. He came through the amateurs, went to the Olympics. He turned pro, he's had some great fights. He's the only fella to beat Eubank Jr. Had a great performance against Andy Lee for winning the world title. And then he tended to, he fizzled out a little bit and seemed to lose his way. And one morning, I think back end of June, I got a phone call from Frank. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I thought, why is Frank phoning me at this time? And he goes, I want you to train a fighter of mine. And I'm thinking, who on earth does he want me to train? And he went, Billy Joe Saunders. And I went, you know what, Frank, of all the fighters I'd like to train, I goes, he's the one. I goes, he's got the type of style I like. He's a southpaw, he's a good mover, he can talk well, he's a bit of a personality. But Frank goes, he's lost his way a little bit, he's going to be hard work. I went, listen, we're used to hard work. I said, send him up, we'll have a meeting, have a chat. We had a chat and we had a meeting, had a coffee. We got off straight away, got on together. I outlined what I wanted him to do, and there's no point in him coming to Sheffield if he can't do what I'm asking. It's not going to be beyond him what I want him to do. If he can, every week hit the targets I want him to hit, I said, you're going to have a great career. You're going to come back. And the Monroe fight was a bit of a testing the waters. It wasn't a fantastic fight, but bearing in mind what he had to go through to get to that point, after 6 months out, get his weight down, get fit, I was happy with the result, and I knew we could build from that into the next fight, and I knew he was going to have a big fight in December. He was talking this guy and that guy, but in the back of my mind I'm thinking it's going to be David Lemieux, it's going to be David Lemieux, and you can't cut corners with that guy, because if you stand still for 1 minute with him, he's going to take your head off. And then not only was it David Lemieux, it's David Lemieux in Canada. So really, Billy put himself right at the forefront. He put him in Lemieux's backyard, put all the pressure on himself, and in them situations you either sink or swim. But I think Billy had the personality to come through it. We went out there for 3 weeks. Everything came together well. There were little niggles, in the camp with injuries and whatever. But on the night, he got it bang on. Everything came to fruition. He put on a fantastic masterclass, in my opinion. It was entertaining to watch. At times in that fight, there was 10,000 people there. You could hear a pin drop, when Lemieux, and if Lemieux managed to hit Billy on the arm, the crowd went up. But that was the only success that he had. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
And those first few sessions in the gym, was he as good as you thought he'd be, or did he exceed your expectations?
No, listen, I always knew he was a good boxer. That's not the thing with Billy. We didn't have to teach him how to box. We had to get his mind right on the food and the fitness, and educate him that way. And when you listen to the stories, how he's made weight before and how he's lived his life, and he's never done a camp longer than 6 weeks, you can understand why he's left himself short a lot of the times. And we outlined everything to him, said, this is what you got to do. You got to do it for 12 weeks. And he took it all on board, and he's happy doing what he's doing. He's going to work happy. He was hitting the targets, and like I say, we've got a lot more work to do. We've got another 6 months, maybe 6 or 7 months before he gets Golovkin or Canelo, if that fight comes off. In the meantime, we've got another fight. We'll have a talk to Frank, see who's going to get. But every camp's a building camp. We can't go backwards. We had Monroe, that was one thing. Then we built to Lemieux. He can't rest on his laurels now. He's got to keep on working for the next 6 to 8 months and building, because he's 28. I'm saying to him, he's got another 2 or 3 years to get in the big fights and make the big money. And he's got to win. And like I say, on Saturday night in Canada, everybody was raving about him. HBO was raving about him. Everybody was happy. It was a great performance. He finally arrived on the world stage.
I mean, Saturday was his best performance today, but how much more Billy Joe Saunders is there to come? Can you see a lot more to progress, or?
No, he's got a lot more to come. He's a fantastic boxer, with, I'd say, decent power. We're going to improve his power a lot more. We're going to improve his fitness a lot more, because he's got to go up another level again when he's facing Golovkin or Canelo. He's got the moves, to nullify what they've done, but he's then got to make a point of scoring and winning and being able to control those guys, because physically they're both very, very strong. So, we've got a lot more work to do. We're keeping that under wraps. We're not giving the game plan away or what what we're going to do, but he's got a lot of hard work. He's having a couple of weeks off over Christmas. He can do what he wants, eat as much cake as he wants. We know what we need to do now to get the weight off him. He knows how hard it is to get the weight off. So, in the back of his mind, he'll not overdo it, because when he comes into that gym, he's going to be in for a lot of hard work after Christmas. So, onwards and upwards.
Looking ahead, obviously you guys addressed it in the presser. Daniel Jacobs has called out Billy. Would you like to see that fight happen, or is there anyone else on your mind that you'd like to see?
No, I'm saying, Jacobs, as Billy said, is a very good kneeling man. He's been the champion. He got beat by Golovkin. Some people think he won. I actually, thought he lost. Decent fighter, but I don't think he's on the same path as Billy. Billy's heading towards the big fights. Jacobs has had his chances. He's been champion. He's lost the belt, and now he's looking for bit of a way to come back, and calling out Billy. If Billy took the fight, it would be a way for him to come back. I don't think he beat Billy, but he don't really do anything to enhance Billy's reputation. I don't think he's beat Monroe and he's beat Lemieux. He's beat two of Golovkin's former opponents. He don't need to beat Jacobs to make a claim to fight Golovkin or Canelo. I think he just needs to get a good fight in April, probably early May, and then look for the big fights with Canelo or Golovkin.
And obviously everyone's talking about Canelo and Golovkin. As a trainer, who would you like to go up against? Obviously you've been against Golovkin before. Would you like to get that one back and go against him? Or
both fighters present different problems, and it's an either or. I think Billy wants to fight Golovkin because he's the one with all the belts. Canelo's got a good name in America. He's got a big following, Mexican following. It's a big money fight, but I don't mind who it is. Probably, it's going to be down to who motivates Billy most, and I think it would be Golovkin. So I think that's the fight, what's going to happen. And I think if Canelo and Golovkin box again, I think, Golovkin's the type of fighter that he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And I think he'd pull through and win that fight.
And just quickly, last word on Kell Brook. Obviously he's coming back. There's been a lot of people wanting to see him come back. How do you feel about the move up in weight? Is this going to see a new Kell Brook?
Yeah, well, we're not going to see a new Kell Brook, but he's obviously he's been at welterweight for a long time. He went up to middleweight to fight Golovkin, putting a great show, and getting back down to welterweight from that position, it was a big ask, and I think it probably affected him in the Errol Spence fight. But you never know until you actually get in the fight and see how the fight goes. So he's back at 154. And we'll see how he goes from there. He's in training. He's been in Canada with us, with Billy on his training camp. Start his camp off. We're out into Fortaventura after Christmas to get back into the full warm weather training, and hopefully, he's going to fight on 3rd of March. He's fighting Rabchenko. It's a tough fight. He's a tough guy, that kid, and it's a good introduction into the light middles.
Has there been quite a mental battle to get him back to this stage? Obviously, with the eye injuries in the last 2 fights, has there been that struggles going into the camp? Was it going to happen again?
No, it's not been a struggle. I think Billy's motivated him. He's seen Billy coming through, and he's trained alongside Billy, and they've done workouts together. And I think you get the excitement again when you see that he came out to Montreal to watch the fight. He was there at the sparring sessions and there at the fight, and he was in the change room. And he goes, "I'm getting the buzz back," and that's what it's all about. You need to be, boxers need to be around the buzz. And I think Billy's motivated everybody. He's motivated Tyson Fury. Tyson's got his last 2 fights, and he's motivated Kell as well. So hopefully, Kell's going to get the bit between his teeth and put on a great performance in March.
And just the last word, obviously you said Tyson Fury was there. What was it like being around him for a couple of weeks, and how is he looking?
He's a larger-than-life character, and he's got a lot of weight. I think he's dropped about 3 stone. We've got a guy called Greg Marriott doing his nutrition. He does Kell Brooks and he does Billy's, and he's given him a diet, and he's dropped 3 stone. You can tell he looks fresh. He looks young in the face. I think a lot of his problems are behind him now. He's more extra motivated because he's come off this ban, and I think he's looking forward to a good 2018, and just being around Billy and the whole camp out in Canada. I think that's given him a massive lift. So we're expecting big things from Tyson in 2018.
Any chance you'll be working with him?
Listen, over the years, Tyson's been to the gym. We used to spar our guy Richard Towers. He works with our nutritionist. Might do a little bit of training in our gym, but that's down to Tyson. He's got to find his feet. Yeah, he's got to get his promoter sorted out. His training camps. At the minute, he's taking what we call baby steps, and he's breaking into it steady. So I think a couple more weeks into it, he's going to make his mind up what he's going to do, and get. He needs a date. He needs a date, and he needs a fight. And I think we'll see then when that's announced, everything will start kicking into full force.
Well, perfect. Well, congratulations again for Saturday, Dom, and the best of luck for 2018. We look forward to following you.
Thank you.